Okay, so I'm going to start real easy as normal. I'm going to go straight into the prayer stretch. So, sat on your bum, sat on your heels, arms out in front. Reach far with your hands. Try and get your chest to touch the floor. We're just going to hold it for a couple minutes. Just start the morning relaxing. All right. So, sit as low as you can. Sit back. Try and feel the stretch in the lats here. Okay. 2 minutes. Here we go. So just focus on big breaths and just relax. Get yourself in a good place to start the morning. If you want to go wide with the knees, you get a bit of a stretch in the groin as well. You can do that. Big breaths in, nice and slow out. And just think about the breathing and the stretch. That's all, nothing else. Good, spot on, guys. Excellent. Just got 1 minute left. If you're feeling this in your shoulders, then just go a bit wider with your hands. Okay, guys, we're going to move up into a frog stretch. So now we're going purposely wide with the knees. Try and drop to elbows if you can, but don't worry if you need to stay on your hands. I'll start on my hands. Show your bum off and just push backwards with wide knees, and you should feel this in the inner thigh, in the groin. We're just going to hold that for 30 seconds, and then we're going to start to push it a little bit further, okay? So with your feet, they can go further out or bring them closer in, up to you. Further out is harder, but harder in a different place than they are to hit. So we're always showing the bum off rather than rounding our back. Show the bum off, keep the chest up, push into stretch. You should be feeling it in the inner thigh, in the adductors, the groin region. You can always go wider with the knees as well. So that's about 30 seconds. So now just try and push a bit further, or maybe try and go down to elbows. If you go down to elbows, don't round your back. Got to keep trying to show your bum off. Or you can go wide with your feet. Just anything to make it a little bit more challenging for yourself. Or all three. Spend 30 seconds back here. Again, just breathe into the stretch. Should be quite tight. Should be pushing it a little bit here. No more than like a 5 out of 10 pain score though. And then just go back up to hands or go back to that easy position for you. I'm going to hold that for another 30. Big slow breaths. Showing your bum off still not rounding. Okay, all right, lovely. Oh, ease out of that one. So we're moving on to an alternate quad. Well, we've done this a few times. Alternate hip flexor and hamstring stretch. So top one, hip flexor stretch in the lunge position. Tuck the bum under, ribs down. Once you've done that, whichever foot is down, or both feet down, whichever knee's down, squeeze that bum, and then you're going to slowly push into the stretch. You should feel it down here on that side, okay? That's your first position, and you're going to move into a hamstring stretch, so just drop the hips. The knee can be straight, but it can also be bent, up to you, as long as you're feeling it underside of the thigh. And we're just going to move between those for a minute or so each side. Okay, so move at your own pace. I'm going to do a couple seconds and I'm going to do a few longer ones. So a couple seconds in that stretch. Remember to squeeze the glute, ribs down into the hamstring. You can do what you want with your hands for balance. Again, as long as you're feeling it under the thigh. You can pull your toes to you if you want, or you can point them. Again, straight knee or not, and move back in. So we're not holding the stretch too long yet. Keep moving through.
I'm a bit wobbly.
You might need to put your foot a little bit wider. That might help you.
Right.
That's it. Got a few more seconds of the quicker ones. Then we're just going to do one long one on each. Not too long, just 20 or so seconds. Okay, so up to the top one, the hip flexor. 20 seconds here. So you should give us a chance to really push into the stretch a little bit. Remember, ribs down still, always glute on. Glute on is something that you'll probably forget, so try not to. Keep it on. It makes a real big difference with what we're stretching. Okay, into the hamstring. Get comfy in this one, whatever you need to do. So I just put my foot flat because my toes start to cramp. Couple more seconds here. Okay, oh, and then we're going to swap sides. Okay, so we're doing a minute of the dynamic stuff again. So tuck the bum under, ribs down. Semi-dynamic, I suppose. So a few seconds, 5 or 6 seconds in each hold. We're just kind of easing in. So starting with a small push, small stretch. And every time you do it, maybe it's a bit harder, a bit longer, a bit further. Ribs down, glute on, swap. I'm using my hands just to balance and let myself lean over more for the hamstring one. You can use one hand to pull the toe. You can go further with the leg, anything, whatever you need to do to get your stretch. As you know by now, I'm not the most flexible. One little thing that I just saw in my mirror actually that I was doing. My back leg swings in. Make sure it's out. You'll probably feel a better stretch by doing so. Our bodies always take that path of least resistance, and rotating in and out is one of the most common ones that we do without knowing, obviously. So in that hip flexor stretch, internal rotation, take the foot out, just so it's in line with the knee. We're not going too far or anything. More on each. In fact, we're going to go back up to the long hip flexor one now. Okay. So 20 seconds, ribs down still, glute on. Push into it a little bit more now. 20 seconds of this. Breathing into that stretch. If you can edge forward with your foot and go further without sacrificing this, that's good. That's fine. If you're already feeling a really good stretch from the mid quad into the bottom of the stomach to the side, that's great. Okay, onto that hamstring one. So again, just get comfy. We just want a position where you're getting a good stretch in that hamstring. I'm keeping a bend in my knee because I want the stretch in the muscle belly, and for me, straight leg just gets the sciatic nerve a bit too much to start the day. So I'm keeping a slight bend. If you do feel that sciatic nerve stretch, so it's a bit of It's a sharper stretch than in the muscle, and it's right behind the knee. If that's what you're getting, that's fine. It needs to stretch as well, as long as you're not taking it too far. Okay, rest there. Next up, we're going to do seated piriformis into a pigeon. So basically, we're gonna this one foot over, hooking the knee to the opposite shoulder. We're gonna hold this for a minute, and then we're gonna go straight into the pigeon on the same side for a minute. So really targeting one glute at a time. So we'll start on this one. So you want chest up. Again, trying to show you, you're not really trying to show your bum off, but you're trying to pull anterior tilt where we essentially show your bum off, but make sure you're just not rounding, not slumped, and that'll be fine. As you're pulling it to the opposite shoulder, that'll really help to get the stretch in the outside of the glute. With all glute stretches, really, that's what you want to try and do. It lengthens that area. So keep pulling it, opposite shoulder, stay tall, and then just breathe. Big breaths. Only 12 more seconds. And I'm going to move straight into the pigeon on this side. So the pigeon on this side means right knee forwards. Oh, well, because I'm doing my right. If you start on your left, do your left. Okay, so 5 seconds to foot. So the pigeon is press up position, knee between hands. And then the back leg, you're trying to push as far back as you can, almost trying to get that groin to touch the floor. So that's your base position. Make sure you're trying to keep your hips square. We don't want to kind of be sat, falling to one side. And once you're there, hopefully you feel stretching the glute. To make it harder, you can lean over, you can drop to elbows. But if you're feeling it, don't worry, don't change anything. Keep those hips square. If you play around with your hip position, just kind of moving them this way, you should feel a big difference. That will turn it off a bit, and then that one will turn it on, as in the stretch. 15 more seconds here, and then we're back to the piriformis stretch on the left side. A few more seconds. There we are. Okay, so it's back to the straight leg. Sat down, that one. All right, let's go straight in. We know what we're doing. There we go. Okay. Sitting tall, pulling it to the opposite shoulder. That's all. Good. Minute on here, minute pigeon. Just big breaths again. It's hard to take big breaths if this is impeding on your stomach, but do what you can. Nice, good. Hopefully you're all feeling this in the right position. 15 more seconds. You can always pull a bit harder if you need to, and you can rotate if you have to. You might feel a better stretch. And time. Okay, into the pigeon on that side. We're going to get straight in. Again, starting easy. Focusing on the pelvis position, so the hips are square, knees in the right place. And then you can start to make it harder. Either lean over, push the foot back, as long as you don't sacrifice your base positioning, that's all good. Halfway through. You'll probably feel one side more than the other as well, that's fine. Either one side's not as tight, or you're actually better at getting in the position on that side. If the latter is the case, then just more practice and trying playing with the positions, what you need to do. Okay, that's the minute. Good. Okay, grab a drink if you've got one. All right, we're going to try a new one today. So, yeah, you should be able to see. All right. So we sat against the wall, or use your sofa if you've got whatever you've got that's not going to kind of hurt your back because we're going to be moving to the side. All right. All you're going to do is sit, hips right against the wall, legs out as far as you can, but don't worry too much about how wide they actually are. And then all you're going to do, we're just going to do one side at a time, just a minute stretch, and we're going to. So I'm going to move to my right first, put my right hand on the floor, right arm overhead, and then bend the hand behind my head. And then we're just literally going to lean over as far as we can to the floor, trying to keep the back against the wall at all times, just a side bend essentially. Okay. So it's going to be a full minute, and you should feel a big stretch up that side. That's what we're going for. So let's go with that minute. So really just trying to bend over to the side. If you can get your elbow to the floor, great, really good. If you can't, don't worry. Just sit in that stretch. Try and relax. Try and take deep breaths. It's always hard to take deep breaths when you're in a weird position, but do your best. Big stretch down. So I'm feeling this from my elbow, so down my tricep, across all my lats, into my back, and into the all of my side. So hopefully you are too. Yeah, good. Okay, oh, that's the minute. Right, now we're going to bend to the other side, straight in. I'm probably going to hide behind this wardrobe, but as long as you know what you're doing. Okay, that's it. Good. Lean as far as you can. Every 10 seconds or so, reassess that position. Can you go further? You probably can. Initially, we are obstructed quite heavily with the stretch. And then the body kind of realizes, oh, it's fine. I'm not going to die. And you can go a bit further. Really trying to get the elbow to the floor. If you're already at elbow to floor, I don't know, tuck the elbow in, try and go further. But we're always sat, both hips on the floor, back against the wall still. Don't compromise that position to get lower. Couple more seconds here. I think we started a bit late. Okay, time. Good. All right. Next up, we have a bigger quad and hip stretch. So we're going to do the one against the wall, not the super tough one. So the super tough one is the knee push right into the corner with the shin vertical against the wall. We're not going to worry about the knee being all the way to the wall, just foot against the wall basically, and then into that first hip flexor position. The key for this one, because our foot's further up, is stretching this area further, which makes it hard to get in the right position. So make sure you're not sacrificing foot up for position, you know. To get your foot up, if you have to do that, no good. You can always just go further away from the wall. Okay, so let's go with that one. It's 2 minutes per side. So we're really targeting those hip flexors in this one. The main hip flexor and main quad, the rec fem. So in this position, abs on, ribs down, glute on. Big difference turning that glute on, especially with the foot up.
It's my knee though, done that.
Put a cushion under your knee.
Wow.
That should help. If that doesn't help, then just go back to the first one that we did. All right. Spending more time in that first one would be fine anyway.
That's better.
Good. So if you've relaxed your glute, turn it back on. Most people forget, so did I. All right, keep stretching. It should be a much bigger stretch than the previous. Hurts more, that's for sure. And then same thing with what we discussed down there. If your foot's actually, it's harder to see, but if your foot's kind of in the middle and you're twisting, just assess that. Make sure you're not, make sure everything's square and that the foot is in line with the knee, which is in line with the hip. That's what we want. Almost there. Remember, glute on, ribs down. If that is easy, then you can always push your knee further back into the wall. That's what I would do. I think 15 seconds, if you can see it right. A long one, it's a big hard stretch, this one. But those are the ones we've got to do to make the changes, I suppose. Keep squeezing that glute. Almost there. If you do need a break at any time, just take it as well. All right, that's the 2 minutes. Oh. Take it off. Let's get into that next one. Same one, other side. So if you want to start a little bit further away from the wall, that's fine. You can always move further in over the 2 minutes. Oh, if you do need to balance, just do, don't worry. It's not a balance test, use what you've got. And then, yeah, as normal, big breaths. Keep ribs down, squeeze the glute. Don't relax with that glute, keep it on all the time. If you do need a break, turn it off, that's fine. Big breath in, and long, slow breath out. Just try and keep everything still and relax. Coming up to that minute mark now. Yeah, keep going, it's good. Big stretch, this one. Ooh. Glutes back on. Ribs are still down, abs are still on. You shouldn't be getting any lower back pain or anything. If you are, it's probably because you are hyperextending too much. 20 seconds. Oh, that's it, almost done. I'll grab a quick drink after this one. Definitely challenging one. Keep trying to squeeze that glute. Maybe you go a bit further back for the last 10 seconds, but it's a good stretch, don't worry. A few more seconds. Okay, there we go. Oh, good. Oh, nice. Okay. Great. All right. Quick drink and then we're lying on our backs. Bringing the leg over. That one. Again. So lying flat on your back. One knee comes over. Trying to touch the floor with that knee. Use your hand to pull it down. But you're trying to keep both shoulders flat against the floor. And the other arm outstretched as far as it will go and as low as it will go. Okay. All right, so just a minute per side. Here we go. Time to start. It's another one that's tough to breathe, twisting the core. Just do what you can. You might feel a bit of the stretch in the glute. You might feel it in your lower back. You might feel it in both. If you can hook your free arm under something to force it down, that's fine, that's good. Like under the sofa or something. I'll let you pull on the knee a bit more, but not sacrifice your position. It's just a minute per side. Feel free to play around with your knee position. You can come higher if you want to. you might get a better stretch for you. It's harder to pull, but play around. Almost there. Okay, there we are. And I'm going to swap sides. Here we go. Ready? You might even get a few cracks. Don't worry if you do. Cracks are fine. As long as it doesn't hurt. And then, yeah, as normal, try and take big breaths in, slow exhales. Every time you exhale, we relax a little bit. Without you doing anything, it just happens. So the longer you breathe out, the more relaxed you become. Keep pulling that knee down, keep pulling that shoulder down. If you feel a pinch in the hip, which some people might, then you will just have to take the stretch off a little bit and relax and pull less. You can always try a different knee position if that is the case. But it probably won't help. Okay, that's your minute. Good, come out of it nice and slow. Good, okay. So we're kind of going to combine both of those now into a rotation, a hip flexor with rotation. So we've done it before. We're basically going into across. So we've done the Spider-Man where we rotate. And we're basically doing that, but with the knee down. Okay. So the knee's down. We are tucking bum under, and we're kind of trying to push our hips as far forward as we can in that stretch. Trying to get in that position there. Maybe you can get a straighter back. You can see I can't go any further, but that's fine what you've got. And then just spend a little bit of time rotating, going nice and slow. So hopefully we're feeling something in the hamstring here, these hips stretching, and then we're working on thoracic and lumbar rotation stuff. You can always do the rotate to drop the elbow too. You can do that here. Let's just start that. It's a minute per side, guys. So in your own pace. So timer started. Just start rotating at your own pace and your leisure. Trying to rotate around as far as you can. And you're always looking at the hand that's moving. Drop to my chest. Maybe you can try and get the elbow to the floor now and again. And back into rotations. Maybe a break from both. Just enjoying the stretch. Elbow down. Rotate again. All the while we're trying to push the hip forwards. Really trying to lengthen this position. 7 seconds. One more rotate. Relax out of it. Change sides. Just get the fix. All right, back into it, other side. So the knee stays down. We're going to those rotations. Remember always the same hip position, glutes on, ribs on, overly up, ribs are down, pushing the hips forward. So we're still getting a good contraction in the glute and a stretch in the front of the hip. So I'm going to do a few rotations before I try and get my elbow down. And then a few more rotations. 15 seconds left. You can always rotate around as far as you can. Squeeze that glute still, even on the rotation. One more. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Oh, good. Relax out of it. This is the last one. Yes. Right, just to finish for a minute, all we're going to do is the standing bend over. That's it. Just to kind of relax everything. So we just stood up, legs stay straight, lock them out, unless you're getting any pain anyway. And then we're just leaning over and you're just relaxing. That is it. Just let the body fall over. Okay. It's just a minute. All right, here we go. So just falling over. Maybe you can't reach the floor to start with like me, but by the end of the minute, hopefully you can. And just try and relax. Try and tuck the chin in. You'll feel a much bigger stretch. And again, lock those knees out if you've not. Big breaths. Maybe you come up to take a breath. On your way down, you're breathing out. Just relax. Just let everything fall. All your upper body is fully relaxed. And that's the minute. Good. Okay. 8:30. Yes. All right. Lovely. Well done, guys. Thanks for joining. Oh.
Out of day, thanks, Bob.